Coming up, Myanmar Tzu Chi volunteers prepare relief items and stationery for victims of the Bago flood. Tzu Chi volunteer塗淑敏encourages her employees to donate the money for purchasing joss paper to help the less fortunate. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen now. Thank you for joining us. Every June to October is Myanmar's monsoon season. Unfortunately, the rain this year have triggered flooding in several regions, with Bago being one of the hardest hit. To help, Tzu Chi volunteers from Yangon conducted a disaster survey earlier in August and are now rendering relief supplies for some 600 affected families.
In Myanmar, monsoon rains have resulted in severe flooding in and around the vicinity of the Bago region, leaving hundreds of homesteads underwater. In response, after surveying the disaster area earlier in the month, Tzu Chi volunteers from Yangon are currently preparing rice, soybeans, cooking oil, backpacks, and stationery for the flood victims.
The soybeans came in bulk as they are cheaper that way, so we have to divide them into smaller bags. Though this method is more troublesome, it provides us with an opportunity to learn as we go.
At the Tzu Chi Myanmar Liaison Office, joining the volunteers in helping ready the supplies are previous and current Tzu Chi scholarship recipients. Many of the students even donated a portion of their savings to help with the flood relief.
I saw how severe the flooding was from the video, so I wanted to do what I can to help the flood victims. I am very happy to be able to help them.
Through the way the supplies are packaged, volunteers also want to help the flood victims learn to save their blessings.
We have packaged the soybeans inside this jar. We hope those who receive it will be inspired. Though they may be suffering now and need help, one day they may save their love in the jar and help others.
With everyone doing what they can to help the flood victims, soon the supplies and prayers will be delivered into the waiting hands of those in need.
Taiwan Tzu Chi volunteers continue to visit residents affected by the recent Gaoshui gas blast to deliver aid and blessings. Many residents say they were deeply moved and touched when the volunteers arrived at their doorstep with Master Zhenyan's blessings.
Each time volunteers walk into this alley, this is who they are looking for. Miss Wang, a Tzu Chi care recipient, hasn't been home since the explosions occurred in Kaohsiung. Finally seeing her again today, volunteers check in to see if her family is safe from harm. Although Miss Wang's home suffered some damage from the blasts, she, however, is not worried.
I feel like help is here. Seeing you, Tzu Chi volunteers, it's as if a weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
The owner of this glasses shop pours out her frustrations to the volunteers. As volunteers lend an ear, they finally realize that the root of her worries is in fact her adolescent son.
I feel the same way. My child was like that too. When I was ill and undergoing chemotherapy, at a time I needed him most, he was rebellious.
It's all right to let out your frustrations. We are just human, so don't be too hard on yourself. If you bottle up your emotions, it's not healthy.
The volunteers' empathy and the doctor's professional advice finally brings a smile to the woman's face, while senior Ling Jingye couldn't be happier to see the volunteers at her doorstep.
You're so thoughtful to bring us so much love.
Grandpa Wu Ruide had just undergone surgery 2 months ago, and the recent blasts further rattled his heart. Tzu Chi volunteers' presence moved him to tears. Although volunteers give without expecting anything in return, having experienced so much warmth and care, local residents all hope to reciprocate their loving kindness.
Also in Taiwan, 32 doctors from Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital recently made a trip to Gaoshui to care for the victims of the recent gas explosions. In addition to offering medical care and advice, they also comforted victims, seeking to bring them peace of mind.
Dr. Li Yibang tries to strike up a conversation with a young man who was at first unwilling to receive assistance.
I'm Dr. Li from Hualien. I'm kind of curious about...
The young man's father is concerned about his son's periodontal disease, but his son only wants to play computer games.
I said no. I told you before.
Dr. Li is not deterred by the young man's temper. He makes his approach gradually and is finally able to talk to him in the end.
It's important to keep up with your oral hygiene. If you brush your teeth after meals every day, it will make you feel better. To take good care of patients, you need both professional skills and a caring heart. If you try hard enough, you will find a way to connect.
The 32 doctors from Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital traveled on a very long journey before arriving in Kaohsiung. They departed at 2:30 a.m., taking buses and trains and circling almost half of Taiwan before they arrived at Kaohsiung at 9 a.m. Among them was Dr. Wang Zuofu, who was born and raised in Kaohsiung. Wang's mother is a Tzu Chi volunteer and joined in the relief effort half a month ago.
I encouraged my son, Dr. Wang, to help other people.
Seeing so many people suffer in my hometown of Kaohsiung, I really felt that we should help each other out as we are all in the same boat. I'm very moved by this experience.
The presence of the Tzu Chi doctors calms local residents. Huang Xiuxian suspected that she might have problems with her kidneys and turned to Dr. Wang for answers.
You are welcome to visit me in Hualien. I specialize in nephrology.
While the senior has a leg injury and wants to take some medicine to alleviate her pains, Dr. Wang is there to clear up any confusion.
I have seen many patients who take medication without first consulting a doctor. We should just relax. When one is in good mood, half of our illness can be cured by themselves.
These Tzu Chi doctors have journeyed far in order to cultivate peace of mind here in Kaohsiung.
The Gaoshui Explosions on July 31st not only turned part of the city's streets inside out, but also destroyed the sense of security previously held by the city's residents. Many of the emergency workers on the front line and those living within the disaster area have since developed post-traumatic stress disorder. To help these people before they develop depression and possibly become suicidal, the city has sought out the help of psychologists while it continues to rebuild.
It felt as if World War III had started. It was truly terrifying. The night sky was lit up by the blaze, and you could hear sporadic explosions thundering in the background.
Working in a school in Kaohsiung, Wang Yueqing's Facebook is full of posts about the explosions that occurred on July 31st. Unfortunately, someone she knows was among the injured.
One of the seriously injured firefighters has been giving fire safety talks at our school for about 6 to 7 years, so all of our staff are praying for him.
Besides those hospitalized, firefighters who escaped unscathed still had to deal with the aftermath of the disaster and the criticism of the public, pushing many to a breaking point.
I have been on duty for 8 straight days. They are all 24-hour shifts. We haven't had a break.
While some relied on a quick massage to recuperate, others just slept whenever they had a chance. The news of their comrades passing lowered morale even more.
Sadly, one of our comrades didn't pull through. We don't have anyone specializing in psychotherapy. We will need professionals to come and provide counseling for us.
For the emergency workers who served on the front lines, they are bound to be traumatized. If you don't help them cope with the stress in a timely fashion, they will just try to build up a defense or try to suppress it. Eventually, some might commit suicide or fall into depression.
In the eyes of experts, heroes on the front line are often the most susceptible to the condition known as post-traumatic stress disorder.
My wife's feet were injured in a blast. She got cut by the gas. I don't care if my shop reopens. Might as well close it down altogether.
A young child recreates the chaos of the night using sand and toy cars. This is known as sand play therapy, which helped numerous victims following the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the US and the 9/21 earthquake in Taiwan. Now, the therapy is helping some 300 victims from the blast release their anguish. According to therapists, the right hemisphere of the human brain stores unpleasant memories, but can't express itself like the left hemisphere, which controls speech. This is why people who have experienced trauma are often misunderstood and become depressed. Sand play therapy has been shown to effectively resolve this problem.
When children experience trauma, they will lose their trust in their surrounding and other people. Their ego and self-confidence will take a hit as well, so we hope to teach them to trust in people again.
点点无声头咧咧，看到混乱的土地，诚心最后步一步，望天替咱保庇这个家。
Regaining their footing, the people of Gaoshui have written a song for themselves and their city. Though the explosions turned the city's streets inside out and punctured many hearts, the city's residents are doing their best to patch up the damage.
For the past 14 years, DaAi Tzu Chi Hospital in Jiayi, Taiwan has continued to strive for excellence in its medical services. Besides the invention of a liquid exchange operation box to reduce the chance of infection in dialysis patients, a system was also established to make sure patients are taking the correct amount of medication. Let's take a look. After picking up your meds from the pharmacy, do you know how many different kinds of medicine are in the bag?
This bag has 3 different types of medicine. I can't tell, however, what is in this bag of Chinese medicine.
This has 3 pills in it. I don't know what's in this bag of Chinese medicine.
Without being careful, life-saving drugs can also cause harm. To make sure patients are taking the right amount of medicine, the Chinese Medicine Department of DaAi Tzu Chi Hospital puts a barcode on each type of medicine. With the help of technology, when a pharmacist now scans the barcode, the computer, which is connected to a scale, will inform the user if the dosage is wrong. The hospital's effort in this area was recognized by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Taiwan Joint Commission on Hospital Accreditation.
It is very hard to tell if the portions in a bag of Chinese medicine are correct or not. With this new system, we can decrease the chance of making a mistake to basically no mistakes at all.
Furthermore, in 2013, the hospital also received recognition from the International Convention on Quality Control Circles for the invention of a liquid exchange operation box. The purpose of the box is to give peritoneal dialysis patients the opportunity to undergo dialysis anytime, anywhere.
For a patient that needs to receive peritoneal dialysis, he or she has to do so in a closed space and make sure their mouth and nose are covered by a surgical mask. The idea behind the box is to give patients the chance to undertake the procedure in a closed environment that is portable and safe.
When 53-year-old Ms. Hoon first started receiving peritoneal dialysis treatments due to an unsanitary environment, she contracted peritonitis numerous times in 2 years. Thankfully, the invention of the liquid exchange operation box changed her life.
I am very careless. The humidity in my house is very high, and there is a lot of dust in the air. The liquid exchange operation box is a great invention. It can reduce my risk of getting an infection, so I want to thank Tzu Chi for it.
DaAi Tzu Chi Hospital's years of dedication in improving its medical care not only has won applause from numerous governmental organizations, but has also benefited countless patients. It is a common practice in Taiwan for companies to prepare elaborate food offerings and burn large amounts of joss paper during the 7th lunar month to pray for fortune and prosperity. However, entrepreneur and Tzu Chi volunteer Tu Shuming has discontinued this practice in her company for 4 years now. Instead, Tu encourages her staff members to use the money that would have been used to purchase joss paper to practice good deeds and help those in need.
It's very hot outside, so make sure you drink lots of water, maintain a happy mood, and enjoy your work.
Running a heavy machinery business together with her husband, Tzu Chi volunteer Tu Shuming is often seen caring for her staff's safety and well-being.
Be careful when you are lifting these heavy items.
It is commonly believed that well-established companies often go all out to prepare elaborate food offerings and burn large amounts of joss paper during the 7th lunar month. Tu's company, however, is in fact the opposite.
We use the money we would have spent on buying joss paper to help those in need. It is more meaningful that way.
Leading by example, Tu also encourages her staff to use the money they would have otherwise used for purchasing joss paper to practice charitable giving instead. Many employees gladly supported the initiative.
Even without burning joss paper, the company is doing really well, so I told my in-laws that we don't have to burn joss paper anymore.
To help a local temple prepare for its Dharma assembly, Tu provided an excavator to level the land. She also took the opportunity to ask the temple's abbot to promote the correct practices during the 7th lunar month.
In Buddhism, burning joss paper is discouraged. Non-Buddhists find that hard to accept at first, but when you explain the correct concepts to them, they eventually come to accept it.
Tu says another reason she stopped burning joss paper was because of her son.
On his test paper, it read, "When we are worshipping the deities, we have to prepare elaborate meat offerings to show our sincerity." And my son circled yes. I realized that we should instill in him the correct beliefs and views.
Instilling the right beliefs with regard to the 7th lunar month, Tu also encourages her staff to adopt a vegetarian diet, as well as seize the opportunity to do good deeds.
In Hong Kong, Tzu Chi volunteers held several blessing ceremonies with the purpose of demystifying superstitions associated with Lunar month of July, as well as promoting vegetarian diet to conserve the environment.
In bustling Hong Kong, there is a sense of serenity and dignity in Tzu Chi's Jingsi Hall located in Kowloon Town.
Through holding this blessing ceremony, we hope to gather everyone's love and good thoughts and to create a harmonious and peaceful society and make the world free from disasters.
Tzu Chi volunteers held a blessing ceremony with the purpose of educating the public that Lunar July is in fact a month of auspiciousness instead of Ghost Month.
I used to be afraid of Lunar July because I thought it was Ghost Month. But after attending this event, I have a new understanding and learn to appreciate the month.
We should appreciate the fact that we live in peaceful Hong Kong, appreciate the nature, the people, and the animals.
In Tianshui Wei, despite the pouring rain, Tzu Chi volunteers drove local elders to a Tzu Chi event, where they were encouraged to adopt a vegetarian diet and give up superstitious beliefs.
I used to burn joss paper when I was young, but I don't do that anymore.
Tzu Chi volunteers stage a drama in another local community to teach people that Lunar July is a month of auspiciousness. They also pray for those suffered by tragic events around the world.
This event offers its sincere prayers to all the victims of tragic events. I absolutely endorse these efforts.
At Tzu Chi's Dawei Liaison Office, volunteers not only educate the public on the right way to mark the 7th lunar month, but also visit Ma Anshan community to provide vegetarian meal boxes to encourage locals to adopt a vegetarian diet. Up to 11 stores in Hong Kong are following suit and adopting a vegetarian diet, providing greater momentum on behalf of the volunteers' mission to conserve the environment.
In a prefab housing community located in Ipatang, Java, Malaysia, most households are low-income Indian families. Tzu Chi volunteers have long been serving in this community, as well as holding regular tea gatherings. The theme of August gathering was Tzu Chi's bamboo coin bank era, followed by volunteers calling on everyone to show their generosity.
Thank you for attending today. Spread the seed of love.
Adults and children gather in the living room. Kindness can be felt in the air as everyone listens attentively to Tzu Chi's stories.
希望是更加多。
We hope that more residents will come to attend our events. The volunteers are pleased to help. This also allows more people to learn about Tzu Chi.
Tzu Chi's tea gatherings are regularly held in Padang, Java, Malaysia, where most attendees are from low-income households. After listening to the volunteers talk about the bamboo coin bank era, many say they are willing to donate.
These people very poor.
There are many poor people and natural disasters. Starting from tonight, I'm donating 5 cents or $1 per day to use this money to help others.
I used to look down on poor people, but now I know that life is impermanent, so I want to help others. Although life is short, they also want to feel happy.
Shagaram provided both the venue and light meals for the gathering, saying it was his pleasure to do so.
Volunteers wanted to pay, but I said no. I can afford this. I am just glad everyone was able to come.
Although of different faiths and religions, everyone here today prays for good fortunes to come.
To spend their summer holidays in a more meaningful way, a children's theater troupe made up of students from the Tzu Chi College of Technology in Hualien decided to visit children's homes across Taiwan to encourage youngsters to pursue their dreams. Here's more. At a children's home in Hualien County, a group of students from the Tzu Chi College of Technology puts on a performance to encourage youngsters to pursue their dreams.
We are a club that aims to serve others, so we will bring our performances to different schools or children's homes. All of us are willing to spend our holidays to bring fun activities to others. I think what we are doing is very meaningful.
The story talks about two characters meeting different animals who overcame all obstacles to pursue their dreams. The story has also been handmade into a picture book by the students, in which the money generated from the sale will be donated to a good cause.
I think the most difficult part is to encourage others to purchase our picture book. We have been promoting it on the internet. Currently, we have sold 450 books.
Spending their summer holiday in a more meaningful way, the club will bring its performance to a total of 10 children's homes across the island, spreading positive values and warmth to even more children. We go to Canada's Vancouver at the end of the show. Tzu Chi volunteers held a blessing ceremony at the local Tzu Chi chapter to promote the correct ways to mark the 7th lunar month. During the event, volunteers also put on a short skit of the well-known Buddhist tale Mu Lian rescued his mother. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.